everybody pretty much at one point is going to get their heart checked, and it's going to be on an EKG. And on an EKG, you either have 3 lead, 15 lead, 13 lead. They have different leads. And then they all correlate with this rhythm, right? And this rhythm has to work together. In order for your heart to be in perfect condition, you have a rhythm. And so that cadence sequence. And I relate that to whether it's 3 categories or 5 categories. And all these categories have to work together. And calling being one of those categories. And if your calling sucks, then you need to work on your calling. But if your fitness is really good, keep your fitness where it is and devote some of the time that you was pouring into the fitness area, not taking away from it, just adding to that other category, which might be calling or whatever your category. You choose your category.
Shooting, I think, is another big thing, right? Like, that's definitely a daily repetition, man.
It's definitely one of mine.
Yeah.
So, those categories are important. And if shooting is your worst category, then you need to work on your shooting. And so I just wanted to put that out there. And when I tackle this stuff, I know, like, calling now to me is so high in the category that I need to work on something that I'm a little less, better at. I mean, that's the truth. So my practicing now definitely changes. When I'm practicing for a competition, of course, that reps up because you can't make mistakes on the stage, but you can make mistakes in the woods. So just remember that. But when I first set up to do, let's say I'm just going into this area for the first time. My first sounds, I might have a little walk to get in there, but my first sounds are calf and cow sounds. Because you can't, once you bugle, you can't go back down on the Richter scale. You got to stay up there now. Or you got to move, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you go in there screaming at a bull that might be only 150 yards away, he might not like that. So I hit him with calf and cow sounds when I first start off. And then I escalate up mature cow sounds. And then I escalate up location, soft location sound. Location. And then soft, not overpowering. And I'm listening. And then I just pick it up the scale. If they're not in there, they don't sound off, I move. I cover ground. Move 200, 300, 500 yards, whatever. And I'll start over again. Or I'll walk until I see a different area and I'll check that area out. And I'll rinse and repeat and do that throughout the duration of season. Now, throughout September, me personally, throughout September, I break it in 3 categories. And the categories are based off of what they're doing at the time.
This is huge, yeah.
At the time of this rut. So let me put it in perspective for you. So about August 15th, most bulls are ripping velvet off, if not almost completely ripped off. And then that testosterone is building, and they're still batching it up too. And then they start spreading out, and they not too far from each other, but they've been with each other all summer, and they know each other's voices. Without a doubt, they know each other's voices, especially that particular batch of group that I'm just using as an example. Then early September, season starts, right? September 2nd, I think it is. Mm-hmm. Archery season starts. So from the 2nd to about the 10th mark, I'm primarily using bull sounds. I use cow sounds, don't get me wrong. I start off with cow sounds, but majority of the bulls that I've killed in that first part of season, I've killed them bugling them in. They're mad and heated up. Now, I'm going to give you an example. You got some kids at school, 5 kids, let's say high school, and they've been hanging out with each other. They know each other's attitudes. They know each other's weaknesses. They know each other's voices. Without even looking at each other, they be, yep, that's Jermaine, right? Mm-hmm. But then you bring a new kid into the block. They don't know him. But he sounds like he wants to be a part of this crew. Or he He sounds like he's angry. Why? Who is this kid? So I'm killing them with curiosity, but at the same time, I'm also provoking a fight, right? I don't know how many times you see it. New kid comes in, everything's kosher. It's all the shine.
The girls are like, who is that?
Everything's kosher, and the next thing you know, the other kids are getting a little mad, and then the fight breaks out, right? It happens the same way in the woods. If they're not cowed up already at that point. Don't get me wrong, I've been in the units where early September, I'm like, wow, these bulls have cows already. That happens. It is what it is. But when you still have that batch or group together, that's the group that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're easy to get on because they don't like new. You starting to move around, they starting to see other bulls and impede on their territory, they get a little angry, a little pissed. And then
I've never really thought about it that way. It's a great
yeah. So then about the 10th to 15th or 17th, you start getting more cow talks. And then you start listening to this. Some of these cows are really starting to come in the heat, and these big bulls already have some of these cows, and the rut's really picking up. Sometimes it fires off right away, but I'm just breaking September down. I use it based off of where I am and how I need to do this. Then you get more cow talks and more bull sounds. So cows are really talking and revving up, getting a little louder. The calves are talking to the moms, and then you start hearing the estrus scream, and she's telling that bull, I'm ready to be checked. And so you're mixing a blend of all these calls together. So I use the mix of both of them, right? Then you get that latter part of the season where the rut is full swing and it goes pretty much mid-October, maybe even late October, depending on the unit. They talk all year long, and I don't want y'all to get confused with this, but I'm just talking primarily during September. This is how I break September down. Then when they get towards the end of season, and it's super hard to get on this big herd bull, there's so many satellites that are out there that are just as big as those herd bulls. I start targeting more of those satellite bulls, and I hit them with cow sounds. Not saying that I don't use the bull sounds, I just don't use them as much. And I lay in the cow sounds. And I'm telling you, this recipe that I've laid out for myself has worked year in and year out. Now, I've had years where I've been into a unit and I'm like, wow, these bulls early September already have cows. Tactics change a little bit, right? And I might start using the mid part of September's tactics on them, those bulls that are already cowed up, but not so much, full swing rut yet kind of thing. So I mix it up, but I laid that out for myself, and that has worked for me tremendous. So from day one of season, I'm still using cow sounds, but I'm not using them as much, and I'm still going to stay with the technique that I told you, calf and cow communications to start it off, because if that bull's only 150 yards away, I'm not scared.